Well, if the fact that it appears to glamorize the villain of it, that happens to be the accident of the film, and its true nature because, as I said earlier, Burt Lancaster was Hollywood's tough guy on screen, but behind the cameras he was something much darker. For decades, he smiled at award shows and shook hands with co-stars, yet he secretly despised many of them. In 1984, one fight got so violent that blood was spilled on set. Another time he made a famous actor vomit with a single punch. His hatred for Kirk Douglas was so deep he once made him cry in public. And his explosive relationship with one legendary star lasted for years before it destroyed them both. Burt Lancaster came into the world on November 2, 1913 in a tiny, cramped tenement in East Harlem, a rough neighborhood in Manhattan they called Little Italy. His family had almost nothing. His father, James, was a postal worker who once had dreams of singing on stage. His mother, Lizzie, was a tough, no-nonsense woman who weighed 250 pounds and believed discipline came through a leather strap. One day, Burt came home with 5 cents of wrong change, and she beat him so severely for it that the lesson stayed with him for life. He was one of 5 children. Though one sibling died young, all 4 of his grandparents had come from Ireland. There was hardship in his bloodline and struggle all around him. His childhood was wild and dangerous. He roamed the streets like a stray, dodging traffic and getting hit by cars 8 times. He once fell from a fire escape and broke his nose. The school he got into a knife fight that ended with a stabbing. Though the wound came from a friend by accident, it got infected and he spent nearly a year in bed, nearly dying. Despite it all, something inside him kept reaching upward. He found a kind of safety in books. Hemingway, Fitzgerald, he devoured their stories at the local library. By the time he was 14, he stood 6 feet 2 inches and had become a basketball star at DeWitt Clinton High School just as he was finding his way. His mother died of a brain hemorrhage. It shattered the family. Still, he pushed forward, earning an athletic scholarship to NYU, but he left college in 1932 before finishing a degree. Chasing something more thrilling, he wanted to join the circus. During the Great Depression, he performed in local plays, coached basketball, and took whatever jobs he could to survive. Paper routes, truck driving, shining shoes outside Macy's. He even worked as a firefighter and meat packer. But it was his acrobatic talent that truly set him apart. At a department store in Chicago, customers gasped as he walked on his hands across the counters. His life took a sharp turn when he reconnected with Nick Cravett, a childhood friend he'd met at a summer camp run by Union Settlement House. The two had bonded over a shared love for circus stunts. In the 1930s, they formed the duo Lang and Kvot, performing dangerous acrobatic routines for traveling circuses like the K Brothers and Russell Brothers. They lived on $3 a week and 3 meals a day, sleeping in cramped quarters and risking their lives under the spotlight. Burt even married fellow acrobat June Ernst during this time. But in 1939, performance injury changed everything. An infected hand forced him to quit the circus forever. He was devastated. It had been his dream, and now it was gone. He drifted between jobs. He worked as a lingerie salesman in Chicago, sang in New Jersey restaurants to keep food on the table, and sold clothes at Marshall Fields. That period was rough. His future was uncertain, but every job, no matter how small, sharpened his stage presence in Greenwich Village clubs. He learned how to work a room. And in January 1943, he left it all behind and joined the army. Just after Christmas 1942, Lancaster enlisted. A week later, on January 1743, he entered boot camp and joined the Army's 21st Special Services Division. Instead of being sent to the front lines, he was tasked with something unique: entertaining the troops. He served under General Mark Clark in Italy from 1943 to 1945, lifting the spirits of shell-shocked soldiers with athletic shows and vaudeville routines. He even scavenged through bombed-out buildings in Rome for costumes and props. When he was discharged in October 1945, he held the rank of technician 5th grade. But, more importantly, he had found a new kind of stage. Performing for soldiers reignited something in him. He wasn't just an athlete anymore. He was becoming an actor. After the war, he stumbled into the theater world by sheer accident. He was visiting his girlfriend at work when a producer spotted him in an elevator. That encounter led to an audition for a war play called A Sound of Hunting. The show opened on November 20th, 1945 at the Lyceum Theater. Though it closed just 3 weeks later, his performance caught fire. Critics took notice. Even with just 39 performances, that one role lit the fuse for everything that came next. It was during that short Broadway run that a Hollywood agent named Harold Heck saw him perform. Heck didn't just want to represent Lancaster. He wanted to build something with him. He offered more than a contract. He offered a partnership. He promised that within 5 years they'd be producing their own movies. That kind of deal was unheard of, but it was exactly what Lancaster had been waiting for. Through Heck producer Hal Wallace, who signed him to an 8-film deal, but it wasn't exclusive. Lancaster kept his freedom, and that deal would shape his entire Hollywood future. In 1946 he got his big break on screen. His first film to release was The Killers, based on Hemingway's short story. He played Anderson, a boxer turned criminal who knows he's about to be killed and doesn't even try to run. It was haunting, subtle, powerful. The film was a hit and earned 4 Oscar nominations. Hemingway himself, who usually hated Hollywood adaptations of his work, actually approved. The film launched Lancaster into stardom overnight, and